Hello, friends, and welcome to Figure It Out podcast. I'm your host, Tish. Now, you've tuned in, and I'm sure you're asking, what is Figure It Out podcast? Well, that is a great question. Simply put, Figure It Out podcast is a podcast where we go around asking people how they figured it out. Plain and simple. No need to complicate it. It's just a show where we want to know how others are figuring it out. Now, Figure It Out started 2 years ago. And now it's back for good. I'm gonna push forward and push through with it. Now, at the same time that the idea of Figure It Out came to me, a group of friends wanted to start on another podcast, in which we did, and it was an amazing time. We were skyrocketing so fast, but unfortunately, it didn't last. A situation came up and we disbanded the podcast. Now, in recent days, we have said that we would like to try and do it all over again. But with everyone's schedule and, lifing, it hasn't been able to become a reality yet. But when that time comes, trust and believe, I will be ready, willing, and waiting to hop on that as well. But until then, right now, I'm rocking out with Figure It Out podcast and all my friends that are listening. So as I said, Figure It Out started 2 years ago. And like the average person, I started something and didn't know how to continue. So I just tucked that idea on the shelf. I wasn't sure of my starting point. I didn't know how I was going to do the show, what it was all about, all those little things. So I decided to put it on the shelf. Maybe I'll get to it at another time. Well, now fast forward 2 years later, and I said, I'm going to do it. I keep talking about it. I felt it in my heart of hearts that I wanted to do it. So here I am doing it. Or I should say, here we are doing it. Like I said, it started 2 years ago. It was born from a situation that I was going through. I don't really recall what that situation was, but I know I had to figure it out. And I was sitting with myself and I said, I am so tired of figuring it out. I wonder how someone else is figuring it out. So, bam, Figure It Out podcast. So the goal of the show is just to question people on how they're figuring it out. Life is a journey. Nobody is going to have the same situation. We might have similar situations, but no situation will be exactly the same. And no two people will come up with the exact same resolution to that situation. So why not go around and ask people, or even just learn their journey of how they got to where they are in life? And there's Figure It Out. Figure it out. I don't even think we realize how common a phrase that is that we say to everyone. When we don't know something, when we need to work out an equation or some problem we have, I've got to figure it out. We tell our children when they don't know how to complete a task, figure it out. You've got to figure it out. You've got to figure it out in life. Figure it out. Figure it out. You say it all the time and you might not even realize it. So why not take that and channel it into a podcast? We look to talk to people from all sectors of life. Young and old, the show is to be for everyone. There's no age limit. We just want to know how everyone is doing what they're doing, How did you become the success that you are? And we don't mean success in the sense of monetary success. Everyone in their own way is a success. Whether it be big or small, your life, your situations, how you overcome them, that's a success. And don't let anyone tell you differently. So, again, Figure It Out podcast is a journey for you, for me, for anybody who's listening. And definitely it's a journey for our guests. And we do have guests, and some really good ones, I might add. Now, you're sitting here listening to me blah, blah, blah. And you're like, who is she? Now that is a very good question. And I do not have a very good answer for you. And I'm so sorry. I know that's not what you wanted to hear. But I don't know who I am. I sit with that question a lot. And I'm like, who am I? Now, if you would have asked me this question a few years ago, I probably could have given you an answer. But as of right now in my life, I don't know. I've been through situations that have changed my mind, my thinking, my perspective, so I don't know. And I'm hoping while on this podcast to Figure It Out that I can figure out who I am. And I hope that goes for you as well as you listen. That maybe if you have some unanswered questions, that listening to this podcast will answer them or help you come to an answer for your questions. But I can give you that, that generic answer. I'm the woman next door. I'm a mother, a sister, a daughter, a lover, a friend, and all that good stuff in between. But if you asking for the deeper level of who I am, well, I'm still working on that. Like Steve Harvey says, he ain't through with me. Same, pretty much the same. Now, I would love to say that I am taking this journey with Figure It Out on my own, but I'm not. As much as I'd like to think that I could do it by myself, I can't. It's more fun when you have someone else to engage with, and I learned that real quick. So I can't wait for you to meet the co-host of Figure It Out, Andrew. Andrew is an amazing guy who has an incredible story and life to share with all of you. He definitely is going through a journey, and he's trying to figure it out just like I am, just like you are. But the dynamic that we bring is amazing. Our energy, our vibe is off the chains. I know you're going to love him just as much as I do. And I can't wait for him to come on, tell his story, and then just be a part of it all. I hope you guys do stick around for Figure It Out and understand you are our friends. We don't like to conform to all of the world and all that stuff. So we don't have listeners. We have friends, because everybody in this world needs a friend. Whether you realize it or not, you need someone. And we'd like to be that someone for you. So sit down, have a drink, grab something to eat, and be sure to tune in to Figure It Out podcast. Until next time, y'all, peace and love.